So, we are with the second part of the story, that is the rat trap, continuing. So, what happened in the first part? The peddler, he stole money from the crofter, took the way to the forest, got lost, finally went to the this iron mill, Ramso iron mill. There he met with the ironmaster, who confused him to be his old friend, but the peddler did not try to clarify his confusion, and then the ironmaster invited him to his place for Christmas, but the peddler refused, and then the ironmaster left. It was not more than half an hour before there was sound of carriage, and a new guest arrived. But it was not the ironmaster this time. He had sent his daughter, who he felt was more appropriate to convince the peddler. She entered, followed by a valet. Valet is someone who we can say attendant, who was carrying a big fur coat. Uh, Author says that she was not pretty, but she was quite modest and shy. Everything in the forge was as usual. The stranger was there near the furnace with a piece of big iron under his head and the hat over his eyes. As soon as this young girl, saw him, she went up to the place, lifted up the hat. The author says the man was evidently used to sleeping with one eye open. He jumped up abruptly and seemed to be quite frightened. Sleeping with one eye open is to be very cautious and very careful. Obviously, he was involved also into the small thievery and all that. So every time he had to be on alert mode. Now, when she took away that hat, he jumped up abruptly and seemed to be quite frightened. Now, looking at his reaction, this girl, uh, she did not say evidently. She introduced herself that her name is Edla Wilmeson and Ironmaster was his father, and he had sent her to invite him. But when she noticed the man was so afraid, she thought inwardly that this man must have done something really wrong. Either he must have stolen something or he has escaped from the jail. But she did not express it. She just said that, "You may be sure, Captain, that you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you come. Only please stay with us over Christmas Eve." Now there was something in the way that she told that convinced the peddler. He felt confidence in her. "It would never have occurred to me that you would bother with me yourself, miss," he said. "I will come at once." He accepted the fur coat, which the valet handed him with a deep bow. He threw it over his rags and followed the young lady out to the carriage without granting the astonished blacksmith so much as a glance. Now everyone in the forge was surprised. What was happening? Obviously, this man, this ragamuffin, this vagabond, this tramp was now walking out of the forge with the daughter of the owner of the mill. So everyone was surprised what was happening. But look at our peddler. He did not look at anyone. What does it again show? We go back to that particular attitude, the revengeful attitude. When he had come, no one had paid attention to him. No one thought of him even of talking. So now he was taking the revenge. He was not even glancing at anyone. But while he was on his way, he had this evil forebodings, premonitions, some sort of thought that, and he was cursing himself that why did he take that fellow's money? And now he felt that he was going to get into a bigger trap. Now next day was Christmas Eve, And when the ironmaster came into the dining room, he was quite excited and he was making plans. He said that first of all, he will try to improve the health of his friend, and then he would find some respectable job, more respectable job than selling the rat traps. Now here see what the daughter says. And here we can see that daughter is more accurate in her judgment than her father. Earlier also, when she took away that hat, and the way the peddler reacted, she thought that this man must have done something wrong. He must have stolen something, or he has escaped from the jail. And now when the father is saying something, she makes a remark that this man must have been really unfortunate, because looking at him, one can not get a feeling that this man was ever educated. But the father just objected to it, asking his daughter to have patience. He says that maybe she has seen him in the tramp clothes, and that's why she is getting this idea. Once the tramp clothes will be off, and so the tramp manners will also go. Just as he said this, the door opened and the stranger entered. Yes, now he was completely clean and well dressed. He had been bathed, clean shaved, and he was wearing one of the suits of the ironmaster. But instead of seeing him so well groomed, ironmaster was not pleased. He looked at him with a puckered brow. Now he could understand his mistake. He could understand that when he had seen the strange fellow in the uncertain reflection from the furnace, he might have made a mistake. But now, in the broad daylight, there was no chance of making a mistake, and he could understand that he has made a mistake. This man was not his old acquaintance. So he immediately asked, "What does this mean?" Now, our peddler also did not do anything to dissimulate, to give any reason or something like that. He very well knew that everything has come to an end. So he said that it was not his fault. He never pretended to be but anything but just a poor trader. And he pleaded and begged and allowed to stay in the forge. But then he says that no harm has been done. He can put away his own clothes and then he could move away. But the ironmaster, his ego was hurt. He felt that he has been fooled, and so he was not so ready to let him go. He said that it was not honest either, and he has been fool of. And then he felt, then the ironmaster said that he is going to call the sheriff to look into the matter. Now at this particular point of time, this tramp, our hero, the peddler, he came forward, struck the table with his fist, and look at the words that he spoke. "Now I am going to tell you, Mr. Ironmaster, how things are," he said. "This whole world is nothing but a big rat trap. All the good things that are offered to you are nothing but cheese rinds and bits of pork, set out to drag a poor fellow into trouble. And if the sheriff comes now and locks me up for this, then you, Mr. Ironmaster, must remember that a day may come when you yourself may want to get a big piece of pork, and then you will get caught in the trap." The ironmaster began to laugh. He said that that was not so badly said. He said that he is not going to call the sheriff, but now he could not allow him to stay. The peddler just wanted this. But the daughter, she had different ideas. She felt that this man must be allowed to stay, and she closed the door. Now the father was a little irritated. He said, what she was doing? The girl stood there quite embarrassed. She had made all the plans, maybe again. Now why did the ironmaster invite the peddler? Because he was alone, the need of human companionship. Now this girl, his daughter, she was also living with him alone, and maybe after a long time she got an opportunity to be a host of someone, to show her kindness, love, sympathy. and she had made plans. And when she saw her father's reaction, she saw that all her plan was going in vain. So that was the reason that she interceded for the vagabond. I'm thinking of the stranger here, said the girl. He walks and walks the whole year long, and there is probably not a single place in the whole country where he is welcome and can feel at home. Wherever he turns, he is chased away. Always he is afraid of being arrested and cross-examined. I should like to have him enjoy a day of peace with us here, just one in the whole year. The ironmaster mumbled something. He could not bring himself to oppose her. It seemed that he uh, never opposed his daughter. The daughter said that, okay, fine, it was a mistake, but then a person was invited. A person was invited for Christmas. And inviting someone for Christmas and then asking that person to go away, that was not the right thing. The ironmaster said that, okay, fine, you have a decision to take, but then she should not regret of it. The young girl took the stranger by the hand and led him up to the table. Now sit down and eat. She could see that her father had given in. The rat-trap peddler did not say anything. He only sat down and held himself to the food. He looked again and again at the daughter, this young girl. Why she was doing it? What could the crazy idea be? But then there was nothing wrong. The stranger did not cause any trouble, but because he did nothing but sleep. The whole forenoon he lay on the sofa in one of the guest rooms and slept at one stretch. At noon, they woke him up so he could have his share of the good Christmas fare, but after that he slept again. It seemed as though for many years he had not been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here at Ramshaw. Yes, obviously, there was no tension. He was sleeping peacefully. In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again, and he stood for a while in the drawing room, blinking as though the candlelight hurt him, but after that he disappeared again. 2 hours later, he was aroused once more. He then had to go down into the dining room and eat the Christmas fish and the pork. And when, after the dinner, he went to everyone who was sitting there at the table to thank them. When he went to the girl said that he should not return the suit because that suit was a Christmas present from her father. And whenever in the future, if he had any desire of spending a peaceful Christmas, he was always welcomed over there. The man with the rat traps did not answer anything to this. He only stared at the young girl, in boundless amazement. He was surprised because he had never received such type of treatment in his life. The next morning, the ironmaster and his daughter got up in good season to go to the early Christmas service. Their guest was still asleep and they did not disturb him. When they returned from the church, the situation was different. The father was angry and the girl was embarrassed. Because at the church they had come to know that the old crofter had been robbed. And the person who had robbed him, the description was that of the rat-trap peddler. And the father was very angry and he said that, yes, see what she has done. And they have left that man alone in the house, and by the time they would reach home, all the silverwares will be missing. And as soon as they reached the home, the ironmaster asked the valet whether the man was there or not, because they had come to know that the man was a thief. Has he taken anything? The valet replied that the man has left, but he has not taken anything. Instead, he has left a gift for Miss Wilmason if she would be kind enough to accept it. The young girl opened the package. It was not so properly wrapped. And when she opened it, she gave a little cry of joy. Why was this little cry of joy? This was a little cry of joy because she was happy her trust was not broken. Now in that gift, it was a small rat trap. And in that, there were three wrinkled 10 kroners. But that was not all. In the rat trap also lay also a letter written in large, jagged handwriting, jagged characters. And there was a letter, and this letter was addressed to. Now look at this letter. Honored and noble miss, since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was captain, I want to be nice to you in return, as if I was a real captain. For I do not want you to be embarrassed at this Christmas season by a thief. She had been treating him as if he was a captain. And he felt that it was his duty to reciprocate the whole thing so that Edla was not embarrassed. He asked her to give back the money to the old crofter who was putting his money near the window as a bait for the poor wanderers like him who passed by. And further he wrote, the rat trap is a Christmas present from a rat who would have been caught in this world's rat trap if he had not been raised to captain, because in that way he got power to clear himself. He says that this Christmas present was from the rat. A rat. The rat trap peddler himself calls himself as rat. He would have been caught in world's rat trap if he would not have been treated as a captain. That treatment which was given to him, that gave him enough power to clear himself. And finally, he signs the letter, written with friendship and high regard, Captain Von Stell. He signs the letter by the name which he was invited. He does not sign his real name. And what does that signify? That signifies that the peddler had mended his ways. He has taken a U-turn. Now, how this has happened? This happened because of the treatment which was given by Edla. The main theme of the story, the love, kindness, sympathy shown can change a person. Now the question comes over here. The crofter also treated the peddler in the same manner, but there he broke the trust of the crofter. But Edla, he did not break the trust of the Edla. Reason? Because crofter accepted him as he was. And that time he was full of bitterness towards the world, and stealing money from crofter was in a way taking revenge from the world. But at the ironmaster's house, his identity was revealed. People came to know that he was not the person who has been invited. Even though his identity was revealed, then also he was given the same treatment. That made him understand that there is still goodness in the world. There is still something called, which is, which he had not experienced till now. And that actually changed his whole perception. And that is the reason he had broken the trust of the crofter, but he did not break the trust of Edla. He did not take anything. Rather, he left behind a gift. Even he returned the money that he had stolen from the old crofter. And this all happened just because of the compassion, sympathy, kindness, and love which was shown by Edla towards him. And that is what is the main theme of the story. So I hope every one of you must have understood the story quite now. And so we come to the end of the story. Thank you.